Hello and welcome to 103.1 Sports Radio. I'm here with Eshawn and Alex. I'm Alex, and we will be talking about possible destinations for Dalvin Cook with his recent release. What do you think, Eshawn?
I think Dalvin Cook is getting to that age, but I also know running backs aren't as expensive. So I think maybe a best possible destination would be the Dolphins. You already have Tua, who's rattled up. He got 3 concussions last year. I mean, leave off some pressure. You got Raheem Mostert, who is very injury prone, and Dalvin Cook can easily alleviate that pressure that Tua has.
Well, the thing is that the Dolphins, they really need to manage their salary cap after bringing in Jalen Ramsey alongside Mike White, Braxton Berrios, and having Tyreek Hill's huge contract over the past offseason. I do think, however, though, the Jets have enough cap space to manage that. They've freed up a ton of cap space. Aaron Rodgers will make $1 million this year, and a 1-2 punch duo with Brees Hall and Dalvin Cook would be perfect. Like Brees Hall in the third down would be one of the best third down running backs in the league.
I could see him staying in the division and going to Green Bay. I feel like Green Bay still has to kind of recover from losing Aaron Rodgers, so they kind of want to rely on the running game. You see, they still, although they do have AJ Dillon and Aaron Jones, I feel that just that third running back that they can use for receiving purposes to help out Jordan Love would be substantial.
I don't think the Packers would really try pursuing Dalvin, but I can see him staying in the division. But instead of Green Bay, maybe Chicago, you have Khalil Herbert, and with Dalvin Cook with that hopefully new and improved O line, it could again alleviate pressure off Justin Fields.
Yeah, so Justin Fields is actually you saw a lot of running from him last season, and you see now that with the addition of DJ Moore with the draft, you could see that he now actually has people to pass to. Looks like we have a question in the crowd.
Yeah. Okay. So my question to you is, I was reading yesterday that the Cowboys were possibly trying to get Dalvin Cook. Do you think that that's possible? And do you think it's possible that they could beat the Eagles at the running game since the Eagles just lost Miles Sanders?
Well, I do think that the Cowboys are a really good destination for Dalvin Cook, especially with the loss of Ezekiel Elliott. But Jerry Jones has already put his trust into Tony Pollard. Plus, the Eagles got a good replacement of Miles Sanders for DeAndre Swift, and they're looking like the best team in the NFL roster wise.
Personally, I do not see a chance in heck that Dalvin Cook goes to Dallas because Jerry Jones has made it very clear that he is still sticking with Dak and Tony Pollard, who's just coming off that broken leg from San Francisco, which he was doing really, really good, being both a receiving and running back for the Cowboys. Also, I think that they will not be able to beat the Eagles with their running game because the Eagles have such a good both secondary and defensive line, and the Cowboys' offensive line, you see signs of age. I see that just it's going to be overpowering.
Um, I don't think we're gonna get Dalvin Cook as I can agree with him on that. But I do think the Cowboys do have a better running game than the Eagles. I mean, DeAndre Swift in these last 2 years, he's been productive, but it's always he's gonna get injured later on in the season. He's just gonna get replaced by this running back who balls out. In this case, it may be Rashad Penny. But I think as of right now, I like the Cowboys running backs better than the Eagles.
And now moving on to NBA, we see someone who just was let notify that they would be released as Chris Paul from the Suns. What do we think of that?
Well, to be fair, Chris Haynes, it was reported that report is not true, but Shams notified that there is a possibility in the coming offseason that Chris Paul will move on from his Suns days. Yet, I do think that if the Suns were ever to move Chris Paul, he would have to go to a contender that's what he wants to play through. Like, he wants to be a team like the Lakers. He wants to be there. He has a good connection with LeBron James. I'm pretty sure LeBron or Chris Paul is the godfather of LeBron James' son.
It's
And
true.
overall, I don't know if Chris Paul is actually going to leave the Suns. They have to focus on guys like Aiden first.
I think Chris Paul. I mean, I think it makes sense to the Suns. Chris Paul is coming of age, and he isn't the Chris Paul that the Suns were expecting when they originally got him. Like, I mean, it's not really his fault the age is coming, but I think I can see him going to a contending team. I agree with you on that, and I think he's gonna be a six man. I think he can be a very good six man. Help the bench players get involved, and I mean, he's a good passer and can still be a scorer.
At his age, nearing 40, he's at 38 right now. I could see him going to some kind of middle of the road team, so it really doesn't have to take a toll on his body that much. I see him going to Portland or Memphis, because Portland, you see Damian Lillard just losing C.J. McCollum this past season. He hasn't been able to produce very much, along with Yusuf Nurkic being gone. And then also I see he could also go to Memphis because John Morant's rumored suspension of 40 games for waving a gun on camera. I could see his suspension being a reason for CP3 to go to Memphis.
Well, Ishan, I definitely disagree with the fact that you said he will be a six-man of the year type player. A six-man. He wants to be a starter. He's one of the best passers in the league. He can finish through layups. He makes incredible shots. Why would he want to go be a six-man, especially with that contract?
I mean, again, not really too many teams are gonna want to start him. They keep like their point guards are already like pretty young, and they'd rather develop them with more minutes. So Chris Paul is probably better as a six man to help develop those point guards.
Well, I think that's about it for 103.1 Sports Network. Thank you for joining us.